Sing a little bit. It just ain't. You know, gotta catch it.
You gotta catch it.
You gotta catch it.
Gotta catch it.
Now I got this one song that I've been singing to myself, but I just ain't never did nothing with it.
Okay, put it out there.
Yeah, it's a little up in person.
That's time.
Cause you know what? It might not show on your computer. It's gonna show on your phone.
I'm just waiting on this track though, so
You got to ask them folks that.
it's gonna be good right here.
But you got it, right? See, you got it right.
Yeah, do say, yeah. That's fun. Okay, now it need to be shared. We got it. Now how do I was able to share this the first time. Why I cannot share this?
One time, two, second, say what, say what, say what, say what.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, this straight jam right here though.
Don't do it.
Yeah, this straight jam, this be right.
So I'm happy. You should. You hear the music, right?
Sam. Marcel.
Yes.
Sam said he don't hear himself.
At all?
No.
Hold on.
Talk on the microphone.
Say something, Sam.
Nope. I hear you. I can't hear
But he
myself.
can't hear himself. Okay, you can't
Nobody
hear.
care about him hearing him.
Yeah.
You know,
Your headset on?
it just went out.
Hold on, we'll bring it back. Hold on. Let's see. Number 4. Let's go back. One time. Let's do it. None?
You hear nothing in your headphone? Yeah, I'm hearing some stuff. I can't hear myself. Like
when he talking, the music was up in your.
and also it just went out.
Okay.
What did I do? But when you talk, I can't hear you. Dang. You need to hurry up. These mics are excelente.
Pick up everything.
There it is. I hear music good now.
But can you? Can you hear you though? Speaking to the mic.
No.
That's what I need. I need to get your mic back where it's supposed.
I hear him though.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him. I can't hear you through the microphone.
But he's saying his headphones. That's what it is. He ain't hearing. He ain't hearing us.
Yeah. Right.
I got what you're. Okay, hold on.
Let me.
Push on the show if I give you mine because I can hear everything without it. So I'm good.
That just be it must be a short in one of these.
Yeah, shortage.
Let me.
She didn't even get that.
Nothing. Nothing yet.
Just the music.
But when you speak into your microphone, you didn't get nothing.
No.
Say something.
1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2. There it is.
Okay. Come back again, fine.
1, 2.
Speak.
1, 2.
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. You good? Ain't you? It's me. Do it now.
1, 2. Check the 1, 2.
Lower or higher.
I'm good. I'll be all right.
I need you to be clean.
I type on that.
Cause he records so you going into him. So I want to be clean like it was. Where you can sit back just like you are and talk where you ain't got to change nothing. We wanted to be just as clean as it was, cause you're gonna be relaxed in the barbershop.
Could you turn the bed music down just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn.
Okay, yeah.
This your background. This just some of this background you talking. This what you talking
Oh, I
about?
like it. Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do this to it then. That's good enough, or you want
Yes.
to lower it?
I like that. Y'all good with that music right there? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay.
Or you can now we can be lower when you want to, or if you want to go
Yeah,
lower.
that's fine.
All right.
Ain't nobody saying that to them.
Okay, good. We good.
All right, let's put us on something else to start mellow though. We listen to that, so we ain't gonna stop. We'll put that at the end.
He gonna get you.
I'm trying to hurry up and eat. I really am trying to hurry up and eat.
I'll have to put you in there. Lean King out.
I got it.
Let's see. Popping peas, bouncing bees, yes indeed. Hold on. I'll bring that up a little. Just a second. So. Something real simple. I see what you're saying in the barber shop. Still don't stop because it's the love in hip hop. You know, the clouds that in the sky, they drip drop. Sometimes we go to the mountain and we want to be at the tip top. But you got to climb one level at a time. Tier after tier or year after year. Don't really matter till you can't breathe when you're in a certain atmosphere. Some folks say it's stratos. Some say it's atmos. Fear. In the shop, y'all in here, man, they be cutting in this thing. You know, if you in chair number 1, chair number 2, like Rick said, I seen that last week. Now listen, he said, now listen, everybody who got your clippers, if you in a chair, now listen, it's gonna be some folks. So I'm feeling good after I learned me some information last week. I'm just bringing y'all up to speed who won here, but I had me a good time because listen, unions did just what my man said.
Ain't nobody saying that.
I'm talking about me.
No.
Hey, it was just what, hey, laid that thing got just like that. Yeah,
Y'all don't see it.
yeah, that was good. But y'all,
You don't see it,
sorry,
cuz?
I started from the top. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Huh?
You don't see it?
Ain't.
I ain't talking about that, cuz.
But yeah, that was just what.
I ain't got but one lens, cuz. It's all good. It's all good. Gotta do.
Okay.
What?
That's good right there, Lee? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I say hit me too.
that's just what happened though, man. Them folks, what he said was gonna happen. Them folks said, listen, we gonna suspend this situation y'all got right now. We gonna go over here and wait. Now listen, we done told you we coming back to work for this right here. But in January, we going back to the table again.
Yes, sir.
I say, okay. I say, Sam just told her that. Why this? It ain't over with. They say in January now. The longshoremen say now, look, everything good in January. Y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do, but in January, the suspension is over with.
Yes, sir.
We're going back to the table.
Y'all get y'all criminal gear.
Trying to get the Christmas.
Y'all get y'all criminal gear.
You better get it in right
Yes, sir.
now. Yeah, I said, oh.
Too loud came back on. This is loud.
Okay, stay right there. Good, that's good. Yours came back on. All right, now watch this. Bang. And shebang. Shebang. Bang.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Yeah.
You can go down a little bit more.
Okay.
Trying to see if I'm.
You all right?
All right, that's what's up.
Okay. I was saying, yeah, I'm like, I know these things working on here. Rick said he can hear you too. That's what was still on. Cause I'm like, I'm hearing him. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm hearing him. I know you. I'm like, okay, it's him.
Yeah, we good.
All right, Rick, from the top. Then.
Let's get it.
Let's do it.
All right. 5, 4, 3. And they're gonna be the intro, and then you'll have your music. 5, 4, 3, 2.
With all y'all out. Greetings, internets, socialites, World Wide Web. This is Barbershop Talking Random-ish. I am Rick Kane. My guy is in seat 1, Lee Thornton. Y'all know what this is. This ain't nothing but some good old-fashioned barbershop style conversation where no conversation is taboo. In this here barbershop, we ain't got but one rule and one rule only, and that rule is say what you mean and mean what you say. Just don't be mean when you say it. Well, we coming live from MEU Radio out of Athens, the classic city, Athens, Georgia. First of all, we want to salute Mr. Marcel for opening this thing and running this thing and doing this thing. We also want to shout out the Wayne King himself, One Lens, doing his thing, making all the noise. Mr. Sherman, first cousin Gartrell. I like to call him Shemp, but he said he too old to be Shemp now. So, but also want to thank my lovely wife, who without her, it ain't no me. And y'all know what this is. It's time to open up this barbershop and get into some conversation. So, without further ado, we is now open. Number one, how's it going?
Well, could be a little better.
Okay.
You know, had a little situation today, but it doesn't compare to what we're talking about today, though. But at the same time, glad to be here. Glad to scalp some people,
Yes, sir.
and let's do it.
Let's do it. Also in the barbershop, we got family. Y'all know what the family is. We got a brand new family. We got old family. We got family. Y'all know what this is. And we got them two fellas that's sitting over there in the barbershop playing chess and doing a whole bunch of napping. I mean, who are you fellas and why y'all in my barbershop, man?
Sam Thomas. I belong here. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but I think my fellas know what I'm talking about. And I'm glad to be here.
Hey, and he right. Because he ain't got no hair.
Yo, man, who are you in my barbershop?
Larry Sheets, and I belong here. So I'm just here to bring some word and be with my brothers.
We got a new young brother in the building. Who are you and why you in my barbershop?
Named Malachi McNeil, and I was formally invited by my brother Rick, so I showed up. You feel me? I'm glad to be here. I'm proud to be here. New change of scenery, so it's a little nerve-wracking.
Hey, Bobby, my job is to make sure you comfortable. If you ain't comfortable and can have clear and open and honest conversation before you leave this thing, I have not done my job.
Hey, man, we're gonna do that for sure.
I know y'all see a beautiful young lady off to my left. We're not gonna tell you who she is right now. She's gonna jump in really the second half. I got her here to help us get through this thing. What thing are we talking about? Well, had a great conversation last week, spearheaded by my brother Sam and my brother Larry. Jumped in and had some great conversation about what is going on presently with the longshoremen and their situation. And two words that really let me know that where we was going when my brother Sam mentioned suspended versus in.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know right now, they are working again up until January. They got to come back to the season and have a conversation. But after we left, had a good weekend. Some things happened Sunday. Now, not here to get into what happened. Not even here to talk about the people. What we're here to talk about and what captured me was when I was looking at the videos of the young man. When I'm talking about a man, there was a tragic murder-suicide that happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And God bless them. Prayers for their family, friends, and anyone that's affiliated with them.
Yes, sir.
I don't know him nor her personally. And I'm not even here to really talk about him or her. What we're here to talk about tonight is, as I was watching the videos, what I noticed in him was pain, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. And from where I was sitting at, the pain and the hurt was coming from the fact that he was losing his marriage. And that brought up some things that I thought that we needed to have a conversation about. And that's loss and how men deal and handle loss. After I looked at those, I went home, laid in the bed, and doing my little research. I ran up on my boy, Ali Sadiq, a comedian, one of the funniest comedians doing this thing right now. But he has a series on YouTube called The Domino Effect. Well, part number 2, he deals with loss. It's called loss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And before he get on stage, he make a statement that a lot of people in the game, he's a former drug pharmaceutical rep.
Okay.
For the streets. And he mentioned that a lot of people talk about the glory, but they don't talk about the loss. Then he went on to mention how, if you listen to his stand-up, that it's entitled Loss, he went in and had a conversation about 3 losses in his life. And the 3 losses that he talked about are we definitely gonna get into 2 of the losses. The first loss he talked about was losing his girlfriend in high school, and how that affected him, and the things that led to in his life. And I got to thinking, loss, with his loss, and what was so funny, I woke up this morning and found out this was Mental Health Awareness Day. So everything just seemed to come together. With the beautiful young lady to our left, the reason why she here, the reason why these brothers are here, we got this young man off to my right side, Mr. Malachi. If you notice something about him, he's not only prettier than us, he's a little younger than us, which probably helped him being prettier than us. I know Lee, I'm sorry, Lee, ain't nobody pretty than you. I don't know. But
I'm at the barbershop because I need a haircut.
you in the right place. We're going to send you to chair 1 in a minute. We're going to get you over there. We're going to get you scalped up. I mean, faded up. But I asked him to be here because he's from a total generation, different generation than we are. Which is very important because us coming from a different generation, we handle losses, relationships, man and woman relationship losses, loss of the deaf ones a lot differently than his generation. We're going to get to him and his story. But my first question is, like I say, I was looking at that video, and what I took from it was this man was hurt because he's lost his marriage. How have losing loved ones or the one you love at any given time, how has that affected you, us, and how did you deal with it? I mean, I can go first, but I would like to, if anybody else want to jump in first, but we here to talk about this because I don't think it's talked about enough. The way men handle losing a loved one, not loss as in death of a loved one, but that one woman or man that they love and the relationship comes to an end.
I go first, Rick.
Okay.
But before I even share anything, I just want to go over some statistics.
Go ahead, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Black men are more likely to experience mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. But those who don't know what PTSD is, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. Number 2, black men are less likely to receive mental health services than white men. For example, only 26.4% of black men ages 18 through 44 who experience depression or anxiety use mental health services, compared to 45.4% of non-Hispanic white men. Number 3, black men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than the African American woman. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for African Americans in 1824. 4, black people in some communities have higher rates of PTSD than white people. This may be due to racial trauma and lack of access of health care. And the more glaring one is stigma. Black men face stigma within their own community and formal medical providers. So basically what it's saying is like we look at getting help as being weak.
Sign of weakness.
Like a sign of weakness. Like we're not supposed to get help. And we need it. So we walk around like zombies, crying out for help. That's all I got.
Now, when I was 25, engaged, bouncing around, chilling, got my little girlfriend, we all engaged. But seemingly, right after we got engaged, we had an argument. And it seemed like from that argument, we started going downhill. And I never forget, Freaknik 96, that week before we actually broke up.
That's why.
No, we ain't break up because I broke Freaknik. When we broke up, that helped push me to Freaknik. I was hurt because I was hurt. I had to do something to get that off me.
On that hill like Freaknik. On that hill like Freaknik.
And so, you know, as I was walking up and down the streets of the Peachtree streets and the, oh, I ain't feel no pain then, I ain't gonna lie. But once Freaknik was over, everybody went home. I stayed at Aaron's house and started to have to figure out what I was gonna do without this woman. I stayed, didn't talk to nobody, didn't nobody know why I was still there. Aaron just glad to have me there, and we just kicking it. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do? All I knew at that time was this woman. In fact, I can say right now, looking back on it, I loved her more than I loved myself. And that was part of the problem for why we broke up. Because I loved her more than I loved me. But 24, you don't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. So after I went in a depression. Didn't know what it was. I just didn't have the drive to do nothing. Until me, Aaron, Corey called us to come pick him up from school. He was going to Premier College. No, but he wasn't going to West Georgia. Then he was at Premier. Okay. Yeah, he was at Premier then. Perimeter. Yeah. Perimeter College. So we went down there to pick him up, and we walk in, and I said, because I'm thinking, what am I gonna do now? I had my baby girl. Jet got fired from another job, and I lost my girl. What am I gonna do? Done flunked out of school, been flunked out of school. And so what am I gonna do? So I walk in and I see the sign. Be all you can be. That's what I can do. So the next day, I walk into a recruiter stop first. Well, I wasn't going on Army or Marines. They ain't heard nothing good. They like to fight. So I'm gonna check out these Air Force and this Navy, see what they doing. Air Force, they heard they chill. I need an easy job. I'm trying to chill. Yeah. So I walk in there and I ask him, hey man, what can you do for me and my child? He asked me, are you sure it's yours? Shot him a bird, walked on out the door, went to the next door, asked the Navy recruiter, what can you do for me and my daughter? He said, I can do this. I said, sign me up. He said, well, you can't go. I said, man, look here. I need to get out of here as soon as possible. Because I was suffocating. Didn't know how to handle it. My mama, I never forget, because I was staying at my grandmother. My mama came over to the house one day and I'm just laying in the bed. She looked at me. But when the last time you been by the barber shop? And this time I was in the barber shop every Thursday. They knew I was gonna be there at 4:45 in shag chair. I hadn't been there. I don't know, mama. She said, boy, take this, go get a haircut. Still, who can I talk to? Lee wasn't here, Sam wasn't here, Larry, freshly married. he ain't feeling what I'm feeling. What do I do? Who do I talk to? This is probably the first time I have ever just spoken about this out loud.
I was gonna say that this is my first time
hearing
about it.
Yeah. So, but this is what I'm talking about. We as black men
We as men, we hold all this trauma, this hurt, this pain in. I can tell you the second one I lost, dealing with a woman, my divorce. Because we as black men, and there's another statistic that 29% of men file for divorce versus 71% of women file for divorce. They give you a whole bunch of statistics of why, say read around the reason why. But let me tell you why I feel that happens. We as men are not taught to love. We're not taught to get married. We're taught to protect and provide. We ain't taught to deal with the emotions. We're not taught, and that was one of the things in my marriage. My goal was to not cheat on my wife and bring the money home. I didn't know nothing about you got to deal with her emotions. You got to handle her emotions. You got to pay attention to her. Do all these other little things. And then once the kid, and we already had kids. So that was easier. So now I can just shoot into the kids and not have to worry about her.
Right.
So when she had taken all she can take, and even the craziness about that was we wasn't even living together once we started filing and everything. I was staying in my own place, and I never forget the day I got the call to say the divorce was final. Me and this woman ain't together. But to hear that my marriage was over, that did something to me. It shook me. My stomach, I never forget, when I heard it, I sat on the sofa and just laid there. Once again, never had these conversations. Never really said this out loud. But I know now that I went into depression.
What were you wrestling with, Rick, at that time about? Was it the finalization of it, or
the finalization of it? Because I didn't get married to get divorced, and the sad part about it is, I know for a fact that had we not separated then or whatever, had we been able to figure out a way to stay together, I would still be there right now. Because my son is still there. Now after my son, that might probably be a whole nother different, but I know I would be there right now, living very unhappily. So sucking it up, manning it up, dealing with it, because these are the things that we were told to do as boys. Mm-hmm. You man up. You accept your responsibility. F your emotions. Mm-hmm. Because you as a black man, we don't deal with it. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
What's crazy is, I remember both those times. You showed up at my apartment and told me you was getting ready to go to the Navy. Cause me and you got me that little part-time job. Me and you working that part-time job, so we both can get our engagement ring at the same time. So you told me about the breakup, and then you showed up at the apartment, me and my wife. And you was like, "Yo, we're going to the Navy. I'm going to the Navy." Like, going to the Navy? What you mean? Like, you 25, bro.
Mr. Smith,
You 18.
but I want to get up.
You know what I'm saying? I'm confused on this decision.
come on?
So, we chopped it up for a little bit. You dipped. And I said, we had a little 2-bedroom. My other bedroom set up a little music. And, I sat back and I was like, I missed something. And I went into a depression because I couldn't figure out how I failed you.
Come on.
And let you get to the point where you had to ship yourself off to heal.
Before you could even speak to anybody, let them like.
You was at a point where you couldn't even that you couldn't share them emotions, and I'm like, I'm right here. What is going on that you felt like you couldn't? And I know, cause we all do it. He got this on his plate, so I'm not gonna put no more on his plate.
Well, see, even I think I was at that point. I was too. That didn't come in play till later. I was too young.
But this is the thing. You didn't know your depression then.
Yes,
You didn't know how to express it.
absolutely not.
And you didn't know which direction to take.
No.
But as your tribe and as your circle, and as being the only one around,
Yeah.
it was still part of my responsibility.
Okay. Okay, like.
And that's where I felt I failed you. And I ain't never said this out loud.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Because I felt like I failed my brother. Because it was still, because like I said, we were working side by side
Yes, sir.
so we can go get our engagement ring.
Yes, sir.
And it was like, wait a minute, okay, your plan that fell through, mine's still pushing forward, and I'm feeling some kind of way, cause you ain't where we supposed to be.
Yes. And let me tell you a flip side. I guess since we here, it was hard to come to your house.
I know.
It was hard to come kick it with you and to play the game with you. Now because y'all, your beautiful wife and you and y'all, bro, I can't. And it wasn't that I don't love you or love your wife.
She told me. Because we had that discussion. I said, my homeboy don't come check on me. I said, you right down the road. He said, she was like, you and Rick did this, and this to get to this point, and y'all did it together. Now, you're still pushing in that direction, and he's not. He can't. It hurts him to see it. He wants the best for you. But seeing you hurts him because he's not in that situation. And I said, I get it. I said, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't help him. There's nothing I can pull to assist you. And then that brings you to story number 2. Because I was still there when your marriage was failing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I failed you a second time because I saw all the pressure you were putting on yourself. And I was telling you, the first thing you got to do is forgive yourself before you can do anything else.
Boy.
And you listen and you take some of it in, but you wouldn't believe it. And I couldn't make you believe it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how else to help you. And I felt like I was watching you go down this same road again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a repeat.
Yeah. It's an absolute repeat.
And I say, there's nothing I can do but be here when you want me to be here.
Appreciate you.
So Larry, you felt helpless in a sense. That's what you're saying at a point.
I had no power. Because as a man, you talk to fix it.
You feel? Yes.
Yes. When your woman come to you, some days she just want to vent. My reaction is, well, if you do this, and this, you ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, but in God's wisdom and with age, I've learned to keep a mouth shut and just listen.
Yeah.
But I wanted to fix it because he's my brother. I never want to see any of my brothers in pain. And when I know if I can say, maybe if I give him this, if I nudge him in this direction, it's going to change the outcome. But sometimes you learn the stove is hot on your own.
Yeah.
And I had to step back and just say, hey, when you ready, I'm right here. I'm always going to be right here. And they go for the cat in this chair number 1 over here.
Go ahead, chair number 1. Look like you got something to.
No, I just want to make a point. And it's kind of dear to me as well. This is a question to you. Sometimes I think that when you keep stuff in, and I'm guilty of that as well. And sometimes I think that there you got people around you moving like they supposed to move.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for them to understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to share it with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's if you don't go through it, you don't really understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you went through depression and I see you going through depression, I'm gonna understand your depression. But if you never went through depression, you can be looking like, man, you can do this, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just a stigma. You know, like nobody don't understand that because they never went through it.
Yes.
You know,
and then
so it's kind of hard. You know, so I get it.
And then coming from the mentality of man up,
man up.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I had been through the depression. I had sat in the darkness and cried.
Come on.
Loaded the pistol, put it to my temple.
Come on.
And prayed for a reason.
Come on, to squeeze.
Not to squeeze.
Not to squeeze.
No, and let's go back.
Hey, no.
I'm mad after I finally heard this conversation. Right. Yes.
That's the thing I'm saying. So
yes.
And it's not a knock. I understand like everybody want to give everybody their own space, but if you had shared that with him at the time, you know what I'm saying? It's relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so for you, so you kept that to yourself. He didn't know about it, and then you trying to help him, and you going through your own stuff.
Yeah.
So
and that's the point.
So that's right.
Yeah.
So
but that's the point.
Right.
That's the point.
We coming to you, young man. We coming to you.
But that's that Gen X generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my father died at 7.
When you were 7.
When I was 7. When I was 7 years old, my uncle sat me down, looked me square in the face, and told me, "You the man of the house now." At 7.
A lot of pressure on 7-year-old.
At 7. So I've learned you learn to carry that pressure. You learn to man up, not to cry. Got jumped on at 9, come home crying, and told, "Here's a stick. You go finish it, or you deal with us when you come back." So you learn, these are the lessons you are taught. So you have to unteach yourself.
Yes. Yes.
It's an unlearning process.
It's an unlearning process, so you can learn how to share. And when I learned to accept the depression and not be ashamed of it, that's when I was able to grow. Because I was ashamed of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't, you know how embarrassing it was to say, I have mental health issues.
No.
That I suffer from anxiety or depression. That I have panic attacks.
Preach.
That, anytime now. I've called y'all at work when I've got just in the middle of, and just vibrating and shaking.
Vortex.
Hey, but when I can recognize it and I know I have a tribe now that's not going to judge me.
Yes.
So it's easier to reach out.
Yes.
But that's something we had to learn.
Yes.
That's something I had to figure out because I had to understand that you're not going to judge me because I can't handle this situation.
No.
Right. You're not going to judge me because I can't handle that situation. You're not going to judge me because I can't handle that situation. Right. But until I've convinced myself of that,
come on.
I wasn't able to move forward. And that's what I think that's what it takes for all of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Until you're able to convince yourself that it's okay not to be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what you're saying, Larry, in a sense, is that until you allow yourself to break free from the captivity of trauma, you can't grow.
Until you accept it.
Okay,
yes.
come on, even further.
Because you may not break free from it.
Yes, sir.
But you have to accept it.
That you have trauma.
That you have trauma.
And forgive.
And
forgive. Hey, but we ain't gonna get into it because I need to hit the. Hey, we got the young bro. He ready. Go ahead.
Go to him real quick, and then and utilize your tools. Because think about when we created our group chat.
Yes.
Like all of us in the group chat, so we talk every day, multiple times throughout the day, and then sometimes when we going through something, we just share it through the group chat.
Yeah.
If Larry having a bad day, boom, I'm having a bad day because of this. Sam getting rough up at UPS.
Yes, sir.
Boom, I can be here all night till 12 o'clock at night. I'm mad. I may call out tomorrow. You know, it's just a way to vent, you know, and there's no pressure because it's a text message. So you just throw it out there and wait for your boys to respond and come to your defense. So
That's it, man.
Yes, sir. Young man.
Ah, man, I'm finally ready, guys. But now, like, piggybacking off of just what's been passed around the room, I can agree to a lot of this stuff, like, especially with the fact, like, not being able to express yourself to the people that's close to you or not being able to even reach out to people around you.
Right.
It's because, like, it's the, like what he said, it's the lack of, like within yourself. Like, if you can't accept that within yourself, it ain't no way you can accept it from somebody else. And like a personal struggle of my own was like growing up, I was very expressive. I knew how to cry, I knew how to talk about what I was going through, and I knew how to voice my opinion. But just like what he said, when you don't see people who care about what you're saying, or you don't have people who genuinely is like sitting there going through it with you, like you're forced to on your own just be like, well, it don't matter. Like, cause like I remember growing up, I was very expressive, crying, telling them what I needed to do in my life, what I wanted to do. And when that wasn't being poured into me, it put me into a mindset of where it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to get this.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, is that coming from, if you don't mind me asking, a male or a female?
Both.
Okay.
But mainly female.
So, wow. See, because what I'm used to dealing with and hearing about, especially coming from women, they're more emotional. They're more adapt to dealing with that type stuff.
Yeah.
And
I grew up around women, so that's my.
So let me ask you this: were they the type of women to tell you, you got for you the man, you got to be the man up type thing? Did you go through that type thing?
Right, I remember getting laughed at, like.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
It have been times where my family was fighting, and I remember this by the back of my hand. My cousin and my brother was fighting at like 3 a.m. My grandma got punched in the mouth, bleeding, leaking everywhere, right? So as my cousin is chasing my brother with knives and stuff down the road, I'm sitting out the window crying, like I'm crying, like genuine tears.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? I say out my mouth, I don't want nobody to die. And then they just start laughing. And you know, like in my head, I'm around that time, I'm like 8, 9 years old. I'm thinking like somebody finna die tonight because this dude is chasing my brother around with knives. Like my brother in the car with my uncle, my cousin on top of the car, riding on top of the car.
Wow.
So it's like what? Like you laugh at me in this moment, but in this moment I'm shell shocked. You feel me? So it had been more times like that where I was sharing a dream where I felt as if like my soul was captured. And then I got laughed at again. But I'm breaking down, crying, genuine tears where I can't even speak words logically, but I'm getting laughed at.
Come on.
So then I grew up to realize that shit, it's only me inside my head, where it ain't nobody that I can really go talk to. Because when I go talk to this person, I'm always going to think, well, they going to take this information, they going to process it how they want to, and they just going to go on about their life. Until I moved in with my dad, and then I realized that I actually had somebody who wanted to hear me. I actually had somebody who wanted to be there for me every step of the way. I had somebody who wanted to piggyback off of the things that I went through. But not being able to visualize that growing up, I closed myself off to my dad.
Okay.
But like, and that's the reverse. Like, that's the one thing I see. People always talk about how dads are the problem, but like, the way I grew up on the opposite side to where I had my dad sending child support money every month. I had my dad trying to reach out to my mom to get in contact with me. I had my dad doing the responsibilities that he was supposed to do on his part. But having an unresponsive mother and a distant mother and a trauma bonded mother, because she's still going through stuff on her part that she hasn't even got over. So it's like I can't even fault her, but at the same time I gotta put this blame on somebody for the way I was raised.
Yeah.
But I can't even say like, dang mom, like you raised me terrible, because when who I am now, not who I used to be, who I am now, I look at it to where it's like, who was my mom growing up? What did she have?
Yes.
Because she's only doing what she knows.
Yes. See, that's one thing I had to realize with my dad, because my dad is far as being a provider, one of the best. I'm talking about, Jimmy, I need. They how you'll get shit. well, but then he gonna pull up every time. But as far as the emotional stuff, nah. But I had to realize one day, I never forget. I went in and I looked at her, and I had to think. You can't because you don't know how.
You can't give what you ain't never been taught.
Yes, absolutely. And then I had to realize who my grandfather was. We can sit in the room all day, and Granddad would be sitting there right there, and he might talk like that one time. Huh, Granddad? Huh, Granddad? And that's it. No more, no less. And so then I had to but my goal was to make sure my son didn't have those tools, had better tools, become better equipped to be able to handle these things. Now at the time I didn't know how I was going to teach him because I was still learning.
And unlearning.
The most important part of that, unlearning.
And that's one thing like I spoke on in one of my personal videos, is like the part of you that wants to be loved, the part of you that wants to accept love, the part of you that literally wants to live in that, the part of you that wants to be there is the part of you now. But the part of you came from is the unlearning process of like coming from a child to a teenager to a young adult and processing life on a different standpoint. It's like, dang, like I really have to unlearn like the abandonment. I have to unlearn the neglection. I have to unlearn the trauma in order to be present with who I am now and the people around me. Cause like my girl now, like I done had to go through a lot to get to her. And like the way we deal with each other is like, I never had nobody speak life into me the way she do. I done had people give me advice. I done had people tell me stories and literally like just, you know, go through the motions with me. But I've never had nobody genuinely take the genuineness out of themselves and put it into me. Yeah. So it's like, I'm still learning how to accept that. Because with me being a person who spreads love, positivity, affirmations, and you know, what I do motivation on my part is like, who's doing that for me? Yeah. And that's what I found in my women that I got now. Like, I found somebody who genuinely wants to show up, somebody who genuinely wants to take the time out of their day and be present with me, somebody who genuinely doesn't care about, I mean, I wouldn't say doesn't care about my past, but doesn't care about the flaws and the absentees that I got within my personality, because they know that what makes me me.
That's one thing I can say about that woman sitting right there.
And that's a woman you married.
That's why. When I told her about my situation, she didn't flinch, she didn't shake, she didn't look at me no differently, and all she said was, I knew something was wrong, but I'm here for who you are.
Literally.
And I'm gonna be here. Whatever this may become, because at that time when we had that conversation, we weren't trying to become. But the more we got to know each other, and the more she spoke life into me, and the more I spoke life into her, and the more I realized in this short amount of time that this woman was here for me. And my job was to make sure I got myself in a position where I can be all that she needs in a man. Because that became important to me now that I have learned how to deal with depression. Now I've been to the therapist. I done been to Pastor Troy. We done talked about it. Me and my boys, now we have these conversations. Now I know I'm a better man. Now she makes me want to be the best man I can be every day, just so she can be proud to say that that's my husband.
And like that's something you gotta be proud of within yourself too.
Absolutely.
Like, being able to even say like, my women love who I am, not the potential of what she see, not the past hurt that she see. She loves this man that's waking up every day and being present with her.
Absolutely. Because at 25, I went from not loving myself to now I love myself unconditionally, enough to want to be able to love that woman unconditional.
Yeah, you had to get yourself in a position of the condition to be loved unconditionally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got a question for the young lion though.
Okay.
He's amazing me right now. But you know, just for the audience and people listening in, we heard your backstory. We know where you're at now. So what was your process to get there? Like what I mean, what was your steps? Because that's what they're gonna need.
Bro, like, I was staying with my dad in Monroe. I had a big old room, like room big. It's like a living room, a room, and like I got everything I need, right? You feel me? Had this girl I was dealing with, had a job, you feel me? I was still going through the motions. I was at high school. But it took, as crazy as this sounds, it took losing the one thing that I cared about, football.
Oh wow. Yep.
I lost the one thing that genuinely took me out of that dark place I felt within myself. And when I lost that, like, I didn't have nothing. So the step-by-step process was like coming to terms with I was never going to get that back.
Mm.
There you go.
I had to accept that loss.
Yes, sir.
You feel me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I thought
Absolutely.
like, oh, if I rehab, if I keep working, if I keep putting my mind back to it, I can get it back. But a bulging disc in your lower spine ain't something you can get rid of. So as I'm laying in my dark room in Monroe, like completely like shell shocked, like I don't feel nothing. I was just like, every day I'm waking up, it's just like another day to me. It's just like time just flying by. And then one day I just was like, what am I gonna be? Like, it brought genuine tears to my eyes because I didn't know what I was gonna be. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to the military. I didn't want to have this so educated lifestyle. I wanted to play ball. I wanted to be a ball player. So, like, waking up every day just realizing that like I'm not happy. Every day waking up realizing that these girls in my life, they're not making me happy. Waking up every day realizing smoking not making me happy. You feel me? Watching TV, playing the game not making me happy. Making money not making me happy. So what's going on? Like, I'm beating my head against the wall every night because I'm trying to figure out like who am I gonna be the next day? Because I can't be this football player that everybody know me as. I can't be Mally because I don't know who Mally is no more because Mally was tied to football.
Right.
I can't be putting on this fake smile every day when I'm not happy. It was just like the mindset that I had to go through. Like I'm still struggling. Like some days, because some days I reflect on who I used to be. The other day I was watching my highlights and I broke down crying because like I can't get that back.
You had to figure out who you were to you.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because you were all those things to everybody else.
You feel me?
And that's where the breakthrough comes in.
Yeah.
Because that's what I discovered with my therapist. I'm a great husband, I'm a good brother, I'm a good son, but all of that is what I am to other people. I had to figure out who I was to me. And that's when your journey can really begin.
Right. And mine began when I realized that I was still that little boy who didn't get everything he wanted. You feel me? That little ungrateful dude who wanted to be loved by the people around him, who wanted to like, you know, branch off into different areas of life and explore the world and travel and stuff and, you know, just sit in environments where I could actually have meaningful conversations. You feel me? That's who that little dude was. But growing up, I realized that that wasn't the lifestyle that I could live through the stuff that I was doing, like pretending to be a street dude because that's what I grew up around.
Right.
Okay, boom, my mom kicked me out at 14, but she sent me off to my dad. I didn't want to be with my dad. I ran away from him about 4 times. So it's just like, I wasn't even knowing who I wanted to be because I was battling from being this dude who didn't get to enjoy life to being this dude who's not enjoying life. So it's like, who can I be? And I was like, I can't be neither of them. Because if I go back to being him, I'm forever be immature, stuck in my little boy ways, not growing. But if I be this dude who don't enjoy life, I'm gonna take that next step. And every day I used to walk to work when I stayed with one of my friends, and I used to walk across the bridge on Mitchell Bridge Highway that passes over the other highway. And every day I used to walk over it, and I said, you know, like, what if I just somersault off of this? What if I just, like, I used to plan my own death. I used to literally visualize the news report. I used to visualize the news report, who they was going to say, how they was going to say it. I used to visualize 18-year-old teenager commit suicide on Athens Highway. I used to genuinely plan this out because one day I was genuinely going to do it. And the night that I was going to do it, I was standing right there and I was just looking. And I just kept looking and I just kept looking. And I just kept looking into nothing. And I was like, if I do this, what's going to happen? Mm. And I said, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be free of all the hurt, all the trauma, all the pain. I'm going to be free of everything that's holding me down. I'm going to be free of it all because, like, I don't want this no more. But then I thought about it. I'm not going to be able to take another step. I'm not going to be able to thank God for the life that I got right now. I'm not going to be able to look to my brother who is in the other room and tell him, bro, like, I love you. I'm not going to be able to call my little brother, not going to be able to call me from YDC and just chop it up with me. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to reach out to my dad no more. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to tell these people that I love them and I care about them. I'm not going to be able to spread this motivation. And like, it hit me right then and there. I have purpose. I just have to find it.
Amen.
Another question.
Come on, Malachi. Come on, speak.
Malachi, real quick. For you, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the youth in this area right now, right? So, what would be some advice or wisdom that you can probably partake on them right now? Because and that was a stretch point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really bad. I mean, you there. Mm-hmm. So how do we get the other guys your age and maybe a few years younger?
You gotta really understand where the disconnection is at within yourself. Like you gotta understand what you're really disconnected from within yourself, and let alone like family was the biggest issue for me. Right. Like disconnection from my family meant disconnection from everything because like these are the people that placed me in this world. These are the people I grew up with. So seeing everybody disconnected now, everybody doing their own little thing, it still hurts me. Right. Because I called my brother a couple of times. He probably don't answer the phone. You feel me? I can't even reach out to certain family members because I ain't got their phone numbers. They mistreated me like certain ways over the last year. You feel me? It's just like, it's that disconnection. You got to realize where it's at because my disconnection was within my family. So
I guess another question, piggyback off of that. So you in that age range. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that you are seeing? I mean, you know,
seeing
and hearing. Like you participate with the youth right now because you're right around 19, right?
Yeah, I'm 19.
So I guess I'm trying to, maybe I'm not saying it correctly, but what are you actually seeing from the youth? Like what are their thoughts? What are their goals? I mean, what is it?
It's a one-way ticket. Let me tell you that. I think everybody's gonna get to a point to where they realize what they really want to do with themselves. But what I see in the Athens community alone is they see 2 or 3 ways out: sports, rapping or making music, particularly rapping, or the street routes, running up money, scamming, and trying to get up out of here. Like you see a lot of people who will go to college from Athens, but they'll end up right back in Athens because they never really met themselves at a point to where it's like, what am I chasing beyond this? Right. Because when it came to football, people asked me day and night, what is my plan B? I genuinely looked people in their eyes and I said, there is no plan B. This is an all or nothing. I was committed because I didn't know how good I was at football, but when I found out, I was like, oh, I can take this to the next level. You're telling me these college coaches reaching out to me on Twitter, they want me to come visit, they want me to, you feel me, they want to offer me scholarships? Like, shit, I ain't my fault for my language, but I ain't never had this before. I ain't never had people paying me any attention. Like, I was playing football for me, but at first I was playing football to escape my reality. The reality that I lived within myself was which was emptiness. And on that field, I felt as if like, I got this one play to be the best I can be. So who's going to take that away from me but me? And that's all football was to me. Right. And then I got to a point where I was like, well, football is more than that now because I can make a life out of this. You feel me? I ain't never had a life for myself. You feel me? So I was just like, I was stuck in there. Like sports, that's the one thing I always see. Music is another thing I see. And third is like people chasing a paper route. But they don't even realize like if you get close to God and you get close to yourself and you get close to your community, all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Right. But okay, since you said that, but how,
Because if you look out, it looks lost.
Mm-hmm.
From me sitting as a aunt, it looks like it's lost. The community, the young people, a lot of them, they look lost.
No, most definitely.
And how do me as an old head help you as a young man see that it's not a loss? It's not a lost situation if you
Do this.
tap into who you are, tap into God and what His purpose for you. How do I go to Him and have this conversation?
Okay.
You gotta know who you're going to, because a lot of people don't care about their life.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like, you gotta know who you're going to, because
Speak.
if you're going to somebody who's like literally indulged in it, they're not gonna care. They gonna hear you, but like me, when I first came to my dad, I was indulged in that lifestyle, smoking, hanging out with the wrong crowds, not caring about my own life. I was indulged in that. So when my dad used to come and have them heart-to-heart conversations and pour his all into me, yeah, I would listen, but I'm not gonna take anything he's saying serious, because, okay, yeah, you this 50-year-old man who's been in prison for 8+ years and you did your life, but where was you at when I was going through the struggles of growing up?
Deep.
You feel me? Because I didn't know my dad was actually putting his best foot forward until I started living with him. And still, when I found out he was doing that, I couldn't accept it, because all of the things that he was doing, I was like, why couldn't my mom do this? Why couldn't my mom do this? You feel me? So I'm not even thinking about him. I'm not thinking about him funding my football. I'm not thinking about him literally driving to different states just so I can get to camps.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, if my mom would have did this, I would have been okay. So it's like, you got to know who you're going to. You got to know who actually wants to make it out and who wants to stay trapped. So it's like, once you can find that person who wants to make it out, you got to go to them not as, how old are you?
52.
You can't go to them as 52-year-old Rick. You have to go to them as 16-year-old Rick. Who was you at 16?
Wow.
Not who are you now. What did you do to get to where you at? It's like, what were you doing at 16 that genuinely made you feel like you couldn't do nothing with your life like this?
Come on, talk.
Because that's how you got to go to them. You got to approach them from a standpoint to where they're at. You can't approach them to where you're at.
Yeah.
So you're saying we got to meet them where
Where
they
they
are.
at. Yes.
That's what it is. So we can't come in with the expectation
That
of where we are.
Yeah.
We have to meet them at their level.
Exactly.
And I think if I'm hearing correctly, they're not gonna receive until they're ready to receive.
Yes.
Facts.
Yes, and that is true, because I had to accept when Lee and Sam came and got me after you've been on the phone with me all day. I had to accept the fact that I'm here and I'm not going to get better until I accept the fact that I'm here and ready to receive the love, the help, the prayers. Because when I first got back, I wasn't ready to receive none of that. My whole goal was, how can I get the hell up out of here and get back to Atlanta? You know, why am I, but then I had to, and then I had to one day get up and look in the mirror and be like, Rick, you put yourself here.
Accountability.
I had to hold myself accountable. I had to stop blaming others for where I was and realize I was the reason why I'm here.
And that's deep too, because like, even though I was saying